Okay, so this question is about a Voronoi diagram representing airports in a country, right? So airports. So we've got to understand that these letters, these are called sites. These are sites, okay? And they represent the airports. And the whole point about a Voronoi diagram is that the edges here of the cell is the space, anything inside that cell is closest to airport D. So that's how we're going to attack the first question. 300, 400 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that this is in this particular cell, so it's closest to site C. So that's all it's asking for part A. So A, part 1, C, airport. And now part 2. Negative 100, 0. So negative 100 is here, 0. And you can see it's just inside, right, the site A. That's A. Okay, we don't need to calculate any distances. It's finished. B part 1, which airport is closest to? Let me just get rid of this now. So we're at 100, 200. Now let's zoom in a little bit because 100, 200 is actually exactly on this edge. So this is an edge. Now remember, all the edges act as perpendicular bisectors. So this line here, which would continue, can you see what it bisects? It bisects site B and D. Look at this. Can you see? All right, so this edge is the boundary between B and D. So therefore, this point is equidistant from both B and D. So the answer here, and it's kind of hinting to you, right, is saying which airports. Okay, so this is actually B and D. Okay, and how far is the airplane from these airports? So we want to find B, the distance from B to that little dot that we made at 100, 200. Or we could do the distance from D to the point we made, right? Because it's the same. So I'm just going to, because I've run out of space there, I'm going to do it from B. Okay. So now the best thing to do for the distance formula is write down the coordinates of B. So can you see that B is at negative 100, 500. So key thing is negative 100, 500. This is one point, and this is the other point. Now go to your formula book, and you need to scroll through to find the distance formula. Now it's in the geometry section, so you can see here's the geometry. We scroll down to prior learning, and we quickly see the distance formula here, right? So it's important that we're able to find the formulas that we might need, and then afterwards we need to be able to apply it, right? So let me go and copy this, and copy it. Let me go now take it back to my Voronoi diagram, and let me just paste it there. And let's have it here. So you'd have your formula book open. Now it's really important you put the right numbers in the right place. So let me explain what this is. Can you see the 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2? So make sure you tag those to the points given. So here's x1 and here's y1. It's the x and y coordinate of the first point. And here's x of 2 and y of 2. Okay? So now let's go and write the formula. Is the distance is the square root of, let's go substitute in, x1, you just take it slowly, right? Negative 100, open bracket, subtract x2, 100, plus, I might need to go on the next line, y1, 500, subtract y2, 200. And notice there's a square here as well, so we need squared and squared. And then you're really just subbing that straight into the calculator, and you're just going to press equals, and you will get D equals to 360.6, and that will be in kilometers. Always write the units as well. And then the final question, let's zoom on it. How far east? How far east? Well, we need to get maybe a little compass going, right? There's north, east, south and west. How far east must the airplane travel before it is closest to airport C? So let's go back to this little guy here. So look, here is the aeroplane. Let's just go and make a little mark on it. Here's the aeroplane. Now it has to move in this direction, right? So it needs to move east until it gets into the cell. So look, here's the edge of the next cell. Oops, the edge of the next cell. Let's do that again. And can you see that here is site C? So we have to move 100, 200, 300 kilometers would get us on the edge. So we've got to move just more than 300 kilometers. So the way we do that is by writing an inequality. So what we have to do for the final part is we have to move more than 300 kilometers. So your answer for the final part was greater than 300 kilometers. That's what we're looking for, a nice clean answer. 300 would take us exactly to the boundary, to the edge. We need greater than 300 kilometers. Okay, so there's your answers. Let's just go and highlight them so you can cross-check one more time. So first answer C, then A. We've got B and D here. Then the distance formula for 360, and then the final part was part 3 here, greater than 300 kilometers.